The Art of Spending Money. Simple Choices for a Richer Life. The essential ideas from Morgan Housel's best-selling book, reimagined as a story. There is a common belief that becoming wealthy is the ultimate financial goal. We spend years learning how to earn more, save more, and invest more, assuming that once we accumulate enough money, everything else will naturally fall into place. Yet if you look closely at the happiest and most fulfilled people, you'll notice something surprising. Their lives are rarely defined by how much money they possess. Instead, they are defined by how wisely they choose to use it. That simple observation lies at the heart of the art of spending money. It reminds us that earning money is only half of the financial journey. The other half, often, the more important half, is learning how to spend it in a way that creates a richer, calmer, and more meaningful life. Wealth is not merely measured by the size of a bank account. It is measured by the freedom, peace of mind, relationships, and opportunities that money helps create. Modern society encourages us to think of spending as a transaction. We exchange money for products, services, and experiences. But beneath every purchase lies something much deeper. Every dollar we spend is also a reflection of our priorities, our beliefs, and the life we are trying to build. Whether we realize it or not, every financial decision tells a story about who we are and what we value. The challenge is that the world constantly tries to write that story for us. Advertising, social media, and comparison culture quietly persuade us that happiness always lies in the next purchase. A newer car, a larger home, a luxury vacation, a fashionable wardrobe, a prestigious neighborhood. We are surrounded by subtle messages, suggesting that our lives become more valuable when our possessions become more impressive. Yet history repeatedly shows the opposite. Many people who appear successful from the outside quietly carry financial stress, endless obligations, and the exhausting pressure of maintaining an image. Meanwhile, others who spend thoughtfully enjoy remarkable freedom despite having far less. This raises an important question. If money is supposed to improve our lives, why do so many people with more money often feel no more satisfied than those with less? The answer begins with understanding that money is not simply mathematics. It is psychology. Every financial decision is shaped by experiences, emotions, fears, hopes, and personal history. Two people earning exactly the same income may spend it in completely different ways because they see the world differently. One values security above everything else because they grew up during difficult times. Another values experiences because childhood memories taught them that relationships matter more than possessions. Someone else spends generously because success, in their mind, has always been closely connected with status. None of these decisions are purely logical. They are deeply human. That realization changes the conversation entirely. Personal finance is not merely about maximizing numbers. It is about aligning money with the kind of life we genuinely want to live. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming that expensive automatically means valuable. Price and value are often confused, yet they are rarely the same thing. A costly possession may provide only temporary excitement, while an inexpensive habit, reading with your children, walking with a friend, cooking dinner together, may create memories that last a lifetime. The happiest purchases are often those that continue giving long after the receipt has been forgotten. This is why thoughtful spending requires asking a different question. Instead of asking, "Can I afford this?" perhaps we should ask, "Will this continue adding value to my life long after the excitement of buying it disappears?" That small shift changes everything. Money is a remarkable tool because it can purchase many things, but some of the most valuable aspects of life remain beyond its reach. It cannot buy genuine friendship. It cannot purchase trust. It cannot manufacture purpose. It cannot guarantee health or wisdom or love, yet it can create the conditions that allow those things to flourish. Money can buy time. It can reduce unnecessary stress. It can create flexibility. It can allow parents to spend more evenings with their children instead of working endless overtime. It can provide opportunities to learn new skills, explore new places, support meaningful causes, and invest in experiences that strengthen relationships. In that sense, money's greatest power often lies not in what it buys, but in what it frees us to do. Freedom is perhaps one of the most underestimated forms of wealth. Many people chase higher incomes without noticing that every increase in lifestyle also creates new obligations. Larger homes require larger mortgages. Luxury cars require expensive maintenance. Constant upgrades quietly transform higher earnings into higher expenses, leaving little room for genuine independence. The pursuit of more gradually becomes a prison disguised as success. The truly wealthy person is not always the one who owns the most. Often, it is the one who needs the least. Contentment has an extraordinary financial value that rarely appears on balance sheets. This does not mean ambition is wrong. Growth matters. Building wealth matters. Success creates opportunities not only for ourselves but also for the people we care about. The danger appears only when accumulation becomes the destination rather than the tool. Money should support life. Life should never become merely a way of supporting money. One of the most liberating ideas in this philosophy is recognizing that every purchase carries an invisible cost beyond its price tag. Buying something expensive rarely costs only money. It may cost future freedom. It may require longer working hours. It may increase stress. It may demand maintenance, attention, and responsibility. Every possession asks something of us. The question is whether what it gives back is greater than what it quietly takes away. This perspective transforms spending from an emotional reaction into a thoughtful decision. The same principle applies to experiences. Many people hesitate to spend on meaningful experiences because they disappear quickly while physical possessions remain visible. Yet memories often appreciate in value even as objects depreciate. Years later, families rarely gather around an expensive appliance to relive joyful moments. They remember shared vacations, spontaneous adventures, heartfelt conversations, and ordinary evenings that unexpectedly became unforgettable. Experiences shape identity. Possessions often decorate it. The difference matters. Relationships deserve similar attention. Few investments produce greater long-term returns than spending intentionally on the people we love. A dinner with family, a weekend trip with close friends, helping someone through a difficult season, celebrating milestones together. These moments strengthen bonds that become invaluable during life's inevitable challenges. Money spent strengthening relationships rarely feels wasted. Generosity also occupies a unique place in the psychology of spending. At first glance, giving money away appears to reduce wealth, yet generous people frequently describe a different experience altogether. Helping others creates meaning that consumption alone rarely provides. It reminds us that money reaches its highest purpose when it improves lives beyond our own. Generosity changes both the receiver and the giver. It shifts our relationship with wealth from ownership towards stewardship. Another lesson emerges from observing people across different generations. Financial satisfaction depends far less on comparison than on alignment. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to feel poor, regardless of income. There will always be someone earning more, driving something newer, living somewhere larger, traveling somewhere farther. If happiness depends upon outperforming everyone else, satisfaction remains permanently out of reach. Contentment begins when spending reflects personal values rather than social expectations. That requires courage. It means becoming comfortable, making financial decisions that others may not understand. It means declining purchases that impress strangers while investing confidently in things that genuinely matter to us. This is where intentional living and intentional spending become inseparable. Every financial choice becomes a vote for a particular kind of future. Buying convenience may purchase more time. Buying education may expand future opportunities. Buying health today may prevent suffering tomorrow. Buying peace of mind through adequate savings may become more valuable than countless luxury purchases. The best financial decisions often look ordinary in the moment. Their true value reveals itself gradually. Patience plays an essential role throughout this journey. Modern culture celebrates immediate rewards. Thoughtful spending often rewards delayed gratification. The individual who resists unnecessary consumption gains flexibility. The family that lives slightly below its means creates resilience. The investor who thinks in decades rather than days benefits from the extraordinary power of compounding. These choices rarely attract attention, yet they quietly build lives filled with stability instead of constant financial anxiety. Perhaps the most beautiful idea running through this philosophy is that richness and wealth are not always the same thing. A rich life is measured not only by financial assets, but by mornings without unnecessary stress, evenings spent with people we love, work that feels meaningful, health that allows us to enjoy ordinary days, and the freedom to choose how we spend our most precious resource, our time. Money serves that vision. It should never replace it. As we move through different stages of life, our priorities naturally evolve. The spending decisions that make sense in our 20s may no longer matter in our 40s. The dreams that motivated us early in life may gradually give way to deeper desires for security, contribution, wisdom, and connection. Thoughtful financial living requires allowing our spending to evolve alongside our values. There is no universal formula because there is no universal definition of a meaningful life. The goal is not to imitate someone else's financial journey. The goal is to build one that reflects our own, and perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. The art of spending money is ultimately the art of understanding yourself. It asks difficult questions. What truly makes you happy? What creates lasting peace? What memories do you want to build? What kind of freedom matters most? What legacy do you hope your financial decisions will leave behind? The answers will differ from person to person, but the principle remains timeless. Money is one of the most powerful tools humanity has ever created. Like every powerful tool, its value depends entirely upon how wisely it is used. When guided by comparison, it becomes a source of endless dissatisfaction. When guided by fear, it creates anxiety. When guided by ego, it encourages excess. But when guided by purpose, gratitude, generosity, and intention, it becomes something extraordinary. It becomes a quiet partner in building a life defined not by appearances, but by fulfillment. At the end of our lives, very few people wish they had accumulated one more possession or purchased one more luxury. They remember the conversations they had, the people they loved, the opportunities they embraced, the kindness they shared, and the freedom they created for themselves and others. Perhaps that is what it truly means to spend money well. Not spending more, not spending less, but spending with clarity, spending with intention, spending in ways that allow wealth to become more than numbers on a statement, allowing it to become time, connection, security, growth, generosity, and ultimately a life that feels genuinely rich. Not because of everything it contains, but because of everything that truly matters.